Hello everyone, welcome to part 5 of Ocarina of Time in Japanese. We've got to talk to Mido here. Oi, omae. Omae, nani yatta n da yo? Yeah, so obviously Oi is just Oi, basically. He's just trying to get our attention in kind of a rude way, I suppose. And our name's Omae, written in Romaji. And he's calling us Omae in the rude sense of the, the you pronoun. Nani yatta n da yo? So, what? And then yaru means, like, to do. Yaru means to do, and the past tense is yatta. So, nani yatta. Nani yatta. And then this here. As we sort of covered in the past, you can say, like, God, it's quite complicated now. What were the examples we saw in the past? Oh, Saria said, Deku no ki sama no go yo nano. And that was because yo is a noun, so you have to say na before no. Go yo nano at the end there. And with verbs, you don't add na. So it's nani yatta, and then it would be no here. Getting quite complicated now, but yeah. Nani yatta na would be like the inquisitive sort of way of asking. But because he's a dude, and I suppose he wants to make it a bit stronger, he wants to put a declarative on the end. So no becomes n, and then he adds da at the end. So it's nani yatta n da yo, and then yo again, making it even stronger at the end. So basically, what the flip did you do, sort of thing. Yeah, along those lines. Deku no ki-sama shinjatta n janai no ka? I'm also obviously trying to make him sound as stupid as possible because I don't like him. In fact, I hate him. So yeah, the Great Deku Tree, shinjatta. This is shinu. Shinu is to die. And shinda would be the past tense of that. Yeah, where are we going with this? Shinda. How does it even become this? This is the undesirable or the accidental result of a verb, right? Shinjao. So shinda would be the past tense, but it becomes shinjao if it's like undesirable, and it's a very common word because you never really want people to die. You don't really expect people to die. So shinjao is a very common word, and shinjatta is like the the past tense of that sort of undesirable or unexpected verb. So shinjattan janai no ka. Oh my god, there's too much going on here. So basically we've got this like inquisitive here again. So it's shinjattan, and then he's saying janai, like, didn't he? Or like, like requesting, like kind of adding negation to it basically. Didn't the Deku Tree just die? Or something. And then again at the end we have no again, like an inquisitive thing, and then a cut, kind of making it into a question. Shinjattan janai no ka? So he's, yeah, the Great Deku Tree. Did he die? Like, yeah, proper surprised. And then dosun da yo? Do suru? Dosun da yo? Do suru is sort of literally means like how do. I suppose it would be like, yeah, how do, like how should we act, less literally. Like, so what on earth are we going to do? What are we going to do? What shall we do? Like, sort of thing. But yeah, or it could be, what did you do? But the fact that it's do sundayo is throwing me off a bit, because you'd think it would be doshtandayo, like what did you do? Shita, you know, the past tense of suru, doshtanda. But maybe this is like a special case phrase where you don't have to make it past tense for it to mean that. It could be, I don't know. Also, there's this here. Basically, like R sounds in hiragana like can become uns to make them easier to say. So rather than like do surundayo. Oh, actually, is that even true? It might just be a shortening. Do surundayo, do sundayo. Well, I'll finish my point anyway, because in fact, I think it applies here. I missed this in the last few parts, but for example, a very common word in Japanese is wakannai. Wakannai. And that comes from wakaranai. And what you do is you kind of shorten the R sound and just make it into an N to make it easier to say. So rather than saying wakaranai, you're saying wakannai. And that happens quite a lot. Here he's saying, omae no sei dakanna. So say is like fault, basically. It's your fault. And then in dakanna, I think he's saying dakara na, because it's your fault, sort of thing. But this is another example, I believe, of it being shortened into an N sound. Omae no sei dakanna, omae no sei dakarana. So yeah, you need to be aware of that. Sometimes R sounds become N's. So it's basically, to sum up, he's basically saying like, maybe what did you do, or what are we gonna do? This is your fault. Like, because this is your... Not really because... Dakara... Yeah, maybe it replies back to this. It's like, what are we going to do? Because this is totally your fault. Like, you know... yeah, something along those lines. I've spent too long on that text box, to be honest. I don't know how far I'm going to get through this, you know? So there's a lot of text coming up. I suppose there always is in Zelda, though, you know? We've got to talk to Saria out here. And this is actually a good opportunity to shame people for their pronunciation, which I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna. Ichao no ne. So again, we've got this undesirable sort of form. Ichao. You're gonna go, and she doesn't want us to, right? So ichao, and this is like, well, this is like a non-past tense. Obviously, Japanese either has, like, present tense can also be future tense. So there isn't really a future tense. It's just, they're like the same. The default dictionary form is both future and habitual tense, and for actions that are habitual and future. So yeah, ichao no ne. So this is like again that sort of inquisitive kind of no, and then ne, just like rhetorically, you know. Yeah, rhetorically kind of checking for agreement, like she's indicating that she understands that you're going to go, and you know, obviously we are going to go. Yeah, ichao no ne. I am. And here's my chance. It's Saria. Saria. It's not Saria if you say Saria. Because the Japanese pronunciation, for the most part, isn't ambiguous. So yeah, it's Saria, not Saria. Saria wakatteta. Omae itsuka mori wo dete ichau de. So wakatteta is just like kind of continuous past, I suppose. Like, I kind of saying I always knew, or it was always clear to me. I always understood, it was always clear to me. And then she sort of quotes this here to tie back to what she understood. And it's omae itsuka, simply meaning someday. Mori, the forest. Wo dete, meaning to like go out or to leave. Excuse me. Dete iku is like, to go out, leaving. Kind of doubles up, I suppose, into leaving the forest. Dete ichau de. And again, this undesire form here, this undesirable verb. Dete ichau de. And she's kind of saying, I suppose you could finish this up with wakatteta. Again, she knew that all of this phrase, then quote the phrase and then say that I understood that that's what would happen, sort of thing. Yeah. Datte omae, Saria tachi to doko ka chigau mon. Datte is kind of like... there was a great video on this by a YouTuber, a translator. I believe she's... I don't want to guess where she's from, actually. But she works as a Japanese, from Japanese to English translator, because she's not a native Japanese speaker. But she says that datte is... it's like an emotional way of saying because, essentially. She's saying because Link, and then she sort of finishes up with an explanation. Saria tachi, Saria and her party, or Saria and all of her what's the word, colleagues, contemporaries, like Saria and the other Kokiris, basically. So with Saria and the Kokiri, Dokuka, somewhere in Link's way or personality, or some point in Link's being, I suppose. Chigao is to differ, he differs somewhere he differs somehow, he differs somewhere. And then Mon, again, I believe it's kind of just a bit like a... What is Mon? It's kind of an emotional thing again. It's kind of like... Is lamenting the word? It's kind of just an emotional sort of regretful... Not regretful. Regretful's kind of too strong, maybe, but... Let me check that lament, because I don't even know what that word even means. Okay, yeah, passionate expression of grief or sorrow. Kind of. It's not... I wouldn't say it's that strong, but it kind of has that vibe to it. Chigaomon. It just kind of adds a bit of emotional emphasis into it. Yeah. Demo, sonna no doudemo ii. Atashi tachi zutto tomodachi. So desho. So demo is but. Sonna no doudemo ii. Well, doudemo ii is basically however it is, or in whatever way things are, it's fine. It doesn't matter, sort of thing. E is it's fine, it's acceptable, it's okay. In some circumstances, it can mean go ahead, no problem. It's just, it has loads of kind of meanings that aren't shared by a single word in English, I suppose. Do demo ii, so it's it doesn't matter, essentially. However things are, none of this matters. You being different doesn't matter to me, sort of thing. Sonnano. I guess it's things like that, I suppose, probably. But things like that aren't an issue to me, sort of thing. Atashi tachi. So this is referring to me and her now. Not me, obviously, but Link and her. Atashi tachi. We. Zutto is just it just means a long time. For a very long time. Zutto tomodachi. And this is friends, right? We are friends for a long time. And I guess this would mean that we will be friends for a long time, not that we have been friends for a long time. I think so. Yeah, I think that's what it means. We will be friends despite despite you being different. And then so desho, kind of saying that's right, right? Like a question at the end there. That's right, right? Basically. I don't think I've said it in this series yet, but so you could see as the English word so, in the sense of that is so, which is quite convenient, maybe. Quite a convenient way to look at it. Kono ocarina ageru taisetsu ni shite ne. So this ocarina I will give to you, basically. I give this ocarina to you. Taisetsu is like precious, I suppose. Taisetsu ni, or yeah, precious in this case. It means like precious, important, yeah, valuable maybe sometimes. But yeah, in this case it's like preciously. The ni at the end kind of makes it into a like kind of like an adverb maybe. So it's preciously, and then suru means just act so that this first bit is true. So it's kind of like act so that the ocarina is precious to you, sort of thing. Treat it with care, basically. Yeah. And obviously shite is the te form, indicating like a light request. So taisetsu ni shite, like please, basically, essentially, please, preciously. Please treat it preciously. And then ne at the end, just again, the same as all the other sentence ending nes. Thank you so much, baby. Yosei no ocarina o moratta. Received the fairy ocarina, essentially. Saria to no omoide no shina? It might be Sheena. This is with Saria, and then to link it to a noun afterwards, we just have to put a no afterwards. So it's memories with Saria. Omoide is memories. Should cover that first, shouldn't I? So memories with Saria, and then this no here also just links all of that, I suppose, to this, which means an item, I suppose. An item, or it can mean product sometimes, quite often. Yeah, so it's like it's a thing of memories with Saria, I suppose you could quite literally see it as, yeah. Si ni setto shi fuite mio, set it to see. Fuku means to blow. And obviously in this case it's used for instruments that you use breath to sound. Fuite mio. I also didn't really cover this the way that, in a certain way, like fuite miru means to try through experimenting, essentially. Not the try as in using effort, but to try through experimentation. And it might have been Tae Kim, actually, who said, like, you can see the miru at the end to mean, like, to look or to see. And it's like, blow it and see what happens, kind of thing. Blow it and see what happens. So you can see it. You can try maybe understand it in that way, but yeah. Fuite mio, and this is just volitional, like let's try it out, sort of, yeah, or just expressing a real intent to try it. Shi item gamende, all this rubbish. Yeah, set it to see. Setto shita botan de tsukao. So by means of the button to which it has been set, try using it. Well, not even try, like let's use it, sort of thing. Shi de ocarina wo kamae. We saw this with the fairy slingshot, sort of set up the ocarina using the C button. And then e to yotsu no shi de, so by using the A and 4 C buttons, the word button isn't specifically mentioned, but yeah. Enso dekiru, you can sort of give a recital, I suppose, is enso, is it? Or less literally, yeah, you can play the ocarina. Oh no, never mind, not recital, sorry. Enso is just musical performance. But yeah, it means, you can play the ocarina. Yametai toki wa bi. So this is just the desire form of to stop. So want to stop. Toki is time, so want to stop time, or when you want to stop. B. Press B. Ocarina huite omoidashitara kaette kite ne. Ocarina, blow. Fuite, again, just the te form allows the sentence to continue on after the verb. Ocarina huite omoidashitara. Like, if you remember me, I suppose. Not specifically mentioned, but if you remember me, or when you remember me, or when you think of me, or if you think of me, I suppose. Kaette kite ne. Kaeru means to, like, return home, or to go back. And kuru means to come. So come returning home, I suppose. Obviously with the te form here, making it into a request. Kaette kite. Come returning home. Ne. Just that. Same as all the other sentence ending nes again. You awkward fool, Link. What are you doing? Backing away awkwardly. And then running away. Poor Saria. What a departure. Here we have Hailalu Heigen. I think this gen essentially just means field. And hei here kind of means flat. Or, yeah, it can mean flat. It can also be like, yeah, I suppose it's generally, yeah, has like positive meanings. Perhaps we'll see we'll see it in other uses later. But yeah, hei again. And together they both just mean field. So it's just, yeah, Hyrule Field. There's the owl. I see him waiting. Oh, he's gonna auto scroll. Oh my yo, Kochiro Goran. So this is just a noise, isn't it? Just an owl noise. Omae yo, just kind of getting our attention with a yo at the end there. Kochira wo Goran. Kochira meaning this way or over here, or yeah, and then Goran is a kind of Keigo-y type way of saying to look at. Goran ni naru. To see, to look, to watch. It's kind of really passive. Japanese can be like that. Goran ni naru. It's like become so that you see. To kind of remove any request or any sort of responsibility from the listener. Anyway, basically Goran is a shortening of that phrase, I suppose. So Goran is just, yeah. I'll see what the character here, Lan, just means see, apparently. And Goran, go is just like an honorific. So Kochira wo Goran ni natte, could you say? But then that's sort of combining quite casual speech with Keigo, which would be dumb. I don't know. Basically, yeah, he's just saying, look over it. Yatto omae no tabidachi no toki ga kita you da no. Yatto meaning like finally or at last. Omae not, like your. Tabidachi. I suppose this is like the standing of your journey. So like the start of your journey, the beginning of your trip. I think. Not toki ga. So the time for the beginning, the standing of your journey. Ga kita yo dano. Kita, the past tense of kuru, meaning to come, so it has come basically. Yo, meaning seems as though or appears as though it has come, and then danao. That's kind of weird. I don't often see this, to be honest. Da no. I suppose this no might just soften the da before it, actually. Might just do that. Kita yoda, that sounds very, like, certain, Like he's telling us it's come. Whereas no at the end maybe just softens that a bit so it's less harsh. I don't know really. Omae wa kono saki oku no kunan ni ao. So you, like this beyond, I suppose, is saki, isn't it? This point forwards, this point beyond. Oku no, so oi meaning many, and then oku, I suppose, is just necessary to make it, to put it with no, to then put it with a noun. Oku no. Yeah, and then put it with a noun, kunan. Yeah, that's all it is, really. And then kunan is like hardships. This one means like pain or suffering, and then nan is like difficulty or things like that. So it's just hardships, basically. Oku no kunan ni ao. So you will meet two hardships, many. You will meet too many hardships, I suppose. Yeah, of course, ao means meet. Yeah, that's kind of there, really. That's kind of all there is. Omae wa konosaki oku no kunan. Excuse me, ni ao. So from this point on, you will meet many hardships. Sore ga omae no unmei. That, your fate. That is your fate, basically. That is just the life you will lead, I suppose. Sore wo urande wa naran. Ulamu is like to be resentful about it, I suppose, or is it? Yeah, okay. Ulamu. Yeah, to resent, I suppose, to be angry about it, or to resent in a self-pitying maybe kind of way. So resenting that is unacceptable. Urande wa naran. Yeah, resenting that is yeah, unacceptable, basically. Essentially saying you must not resent that. That's how it is, so, you know, don't regret or resent that fact, I suppose. Kono michi wo massugu iku to hairaru no shiro ga miete kuru. So this michi is like a path or a road. Kono michi wo massugu just means like straight. It's like, yeah, it means like absolutely straight. Massugu, I think. Although that's probably a bit literal. Massugu probably doesn't necessarily mean absolutely straight, but it does mean straight. And then iku to, this to here is a bit like a conditional again. It's like this path straight go, and hairaru no shiro, Hyrule Castle, come visible, sort of thing. Yeah, miete kuru. This sort of indicates that, like, perhaps right now, obviously, we can't see Hyrule Castle, but it will come visible. It will become visible if we go straight up in a straight line from here. And mieru means to be able to see, I suppose, or to be visible. So yeah, it will become visible. Omae wa soko de hitori no hime ni deau de arau. You, at that place, basically, yeah, at that place, over there, at there. Hitori meaning one person, or less literally, I suppose, you just say a princess. Hime is princess. So yeah, you at that place, a princess, to or with or whatever, deao. Deao, I think means like, I think it's supposed to mean like to happen to meet, or to meet for perhaps the first time. My dictionary here says to meet by chance, to come across, to happen to encounter. But I have seen it used in ways that don't really have a kind of chance element to it, but yeah. Deao de aro. And this is just kind of like, he's kind of just betting us. He's like, you're going to meet someone there, aren't you? Right? Sort of thing. Yeah, I think that kind of covers that, to be honest. Moshi susumu beki michi ni mayouta nara, mappu o miru ga yoi. There's a bit of old Japanese going on here. So moshi just kind of precedes a condition. You don't always need it, but sometimes people like to use it. I'm not entirely sure why people ever say it, to be honest. Because you don't really need it, but sometimes people do. Susumu beki. This beki here means should. Susumu beki. Yeah, it basically means should. And it's put after the verb to which it applies. So, should proceed, path, or the path you should proceed via or using or whatever. Ni mayo means to be lost or to be like torn between a couple of decisions. Is it between two? It might be specifically between two decisions, or it might even be more, but it means to either be lost or to be unable to decide something. I don't really know what this ta's doing. Unless this is just like an old form of mayo, and the past tense should be mayota, but because it's old Japanese, it's mayota. Not sure. But yeah, it could just be, yeah. As I say, it's like, and then nara, nara at the end is like the conditional, isn't it? So if you are lost in or to the path you should proceed through or via, mappu o miru ga yoi. So look at the map, and then ga yoi. Again, this is quite old Japanese, I think. Nowadays, you'd usually say, you'd use the past tense of a verb, so you'd say mita, and then you'd say ho ga yoi, mita ho ga yoi, which is kind of means the same thing, but this, you see this a lot in Zelda, and you don't see it nowadays. It must be old Japanese, I think. But yeah, mappu o miru ga yoi. Basically, you should just look at the map. Omae no susunda michi wa mappu ni nokoru. So your proceeded paths, map ni nokoru. Map to be left, or will remain on the map. Yes, so kind of less literally the paths you have, proceeded to, the paths you have taken, will be like left on the map, will remain on the map. So obviously it will just track your progress as you go. Start de item mode ni shite mappu gamen de kakunin suru koto da. So using start, item mode to make it so that, basically, make it so that it is item mode. And then mappu gamen de, using the map screen, kakunin suru koto da. You can sort of confirm. Koto is a bit formal. I suppose it's kind of just a formal way of saying kakunin shite, like sort of telling you to do something, or kakunin shite kudasai. But this is just kind of a bit formal, perhaps a bit colder sounding. Kakunin suru koto da. That's kind of the best way I can explain it, probably. Yeah, and then we've got another mosh here. Moshi mappu ni aru ten ga hikatte oreba, soko ga omae no susumu beki basho ja. So again, we've got this sort of arguably unneeded conditional thing at the start. Moshi mappu ni aru ten ga hikatte oreba. So this is, at the end here, this is hikatte ireba. but for some reason in the old days they preferred to say oru instead of iru for like the verb to be. And so this is a continuous state verb. So if we have to go through it backwards kind of, don't we? If on the map there exists a point that is flashing, or that is lighting up, or lit up, I suppose, that is lighting up, that place, your proceed should place. I should probably read through the things like literally in that order, shouldn't I? So yeah, that is the place that you should proceed to. Yeah, kind of weird how Japanese works. Like everything just modifies the final noun of the sentence. So yeah, if something is flashing on the map, that's where you should go. Wakatta kai. Wakatta, like, has that become clear, or less literally, do you understand? And then kai, just kind of a question noise that's kind of quite fun sounding. Hai. Sore de wa washi wa hito ashi saki ni iku to shio. I messed that up. Iku to shio. Matte oru zo. Yeah, sore de wa just meaning like with that decided, with that cleared up, with that being said. Washi wa I, one step ahead, basically. Hito ashi saki. One step beyond this point, I suppose. One step ahead. Ni iku to shio. And I think this just indicates like his decision, his decided action. So I will go like one step ahead, and like he's kind of, this kind of just indicates that he's, yeah, decided to do that. He has taken it upon himself, I suppose, to be one step ahead. He has decided to be one step ahead. And then matte oruzo. Again, this should be like matte iru, but it's old Japanese maybe, so matte oru. So I am waiting, or I will be in a state of waiting. Zo just kind of, I don't know, just kind of comes at the end of stuff when you're telling someone something. Kind of a bit fun sounding again. And then ha ha, it's just a noise, right? Like owls make. I suppose we want a back walk, do we? Go! Try and get some money. No, dude. Oh, I missed that. What was it? It was like Shiro Shita Machi. Maybe. Shiro Shita Machi, like castle beneath town, I believe. That one's pretty easy. Hailalu Jo, just meaning Hyrule Castle. This guy wants to say more things to us. Oi, oh my, kochi jayo. Basically the same as last time. Oi, Link, over here. Dayo, maybe, like I am over here, sort of thing. Ohime-sama wa konosaki no oshiro no naka. So, yeah, the princess, the princess, and then just like an honorific, like Her Majesty the Princess, I suppose. Might be a good translation. Her Majesty the Princess, this beyond, from like beyond this point. No Oshiro, the castle beyond this point. No Naka, inside the castle beyond this point. Yeah, yeah. Mihari no hei ni mitsukaranai. Oh, not mitsukaranai. Mitsukaranu yoni na. Oh. Mihari or Miharu means basically to stand guard. To stand and watch and, you know, protect something, to stand guard. So Mihari makes it into kind of a noun. That's like the stem of Haru, isn't it? Mihari. and then not, just allowing it to join to a noun afterwards. And then hei is like soldiers. Mihari no hei ni. And this mitsukaru would mean to be discovered. So I suppose in this case it's kind of like this ni here is like by the guards, by the guards essentially. By the guards, not to be discovered, yo ni na. This yo here is a bit like so that. So that you are not discovered by the guards. And then ni na, I think like ni after this should be like suru or a verb, but because it's so common it just doesn't get said. Or maybe kiyotsukete, it would be like take care not so that you do not get discovered by the guards. Or suru would mean like act so that you don't get discovered by the guards. But as I said, it's like it's such a common phrase that it just gets, the verb just gets omitted all the time. And then na at the end is a bit like ne, basically. Yo ni ne, yo ni na. Yeah, essentially the same thing. And then ha ha, just another noise. Kono chijou de wa toki wa itsu demo nagarete oru. So this, this place on, I suppose you could say. So like on this land or in this place, less literally. Kono chijou de wa. Yeah, like just so that a verb can take place at the location. Kono chijou de wa. Toki meaning time. Itsu demo, like always, essentially, at any time, regardless of the time. Nagarete oru is flowing, essentially. Time is at all times, or time is at any time flowing. It's just going on about how in some areas obviously time's frozen, and in this place it's not. Danga machi no naka de wa toki no nagare wa tomatta mama ja. So danga just meaning like but. Machi no naka de wa like inside towns. And then again just allowing a verb to happen. Allowing a verb to happen? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that. It's like machi no naka ni iru toki or machi no naka de wa. When in a town, times flow. Toki no nagare. Times flow is like in a state of being stopped. Not very literally there, yeah. Stopped state. More literally. Tomatta mama. And then ja, just like a sentence ending kind of thing that old people tend to like saying. I don't know why. Yeah. Jikan wo susumeta kereba ichido machi kara dete miru ga yoi. We got this same old Japanese style way of saying things again. So jikan, also meaning time, in a sense of an amount of time. That's probably what's going on here. So an amount of time. Susumeru means to advance something else, doesn't it? It's the transitive verb. So if you susumeru something, you are causing something else to advance. Whereas susumu is yourself advancing somewhere. So that's kind of a difference there. So susumeru, that's what it means. And susumetai, of course, is the desire form. So if you want to advance time, you want to advance time. And susumetakele is the conditional desire form, sort of thing. So if you want to advance time. Ichido, just meaning like one time or once. Or for a short time it can mean as well, actually, strangely. Ichido, machi kara, from town. Dete, like leave. And then Mido, again, like try leaving town, essentially. And then ga yoi, meaning sort of making it into a you should kind of phrase. So you should try leaving town if you want to advance time. Toki ga tateba henka suru mono mo aru jarou kara nao. Time, tatsu, means like to elapse or to pass, like time does. Time elapses and passes, doesn't it? So, and this is like the conditional form, sort of. Yeah. Toki ga tateba, so if time passes, or perhaps as time passes. Henka suru. Henka means to change, basically. This one means to change, and this one means to change. So they both kind of double up, and both mean change. Henka suru, you have to put suru into it to make it into a verb. Henka suru mono, so change things, things that will change. Mo, that's just like an inclusive particle. So there are also things... oh no, sorry, no, aru comes next. So aru means to exist. So there are also things that change as time passes. And then jarou, meaning like kind of... What's jarou? It's like darou, basically. It's like kind of like right, you know, kind of thing. And then karanao, I suppose kind of just expressing a reason why we might want time to advance. Like saying because, in reference to the last text box, because there are also things that, you know, there are also things that change as time passes. And then no, just kind of maybe an insistent kind of insisting on a piece of information, maybe. Sate, shiro ni tadoritsuku made ni donna deai ga omae wo matte oru ka tanoshimi ja. Sate, just essentially meaning like, well now, I suppose, well. Or now then, perhaps. Maybe, something along those lines. And then shiro ni, to the castle. Tadoritsuku means to like manage to get to make it to. Yeah, to manage to arrive at, perhaps. So tadoritsuku made ni. And made means until. And then made ni kind of puts a deadline on that, I suppose. What's an example? Made ni. Like, for example, if I said Getsuyobi made ni, that means like I have until Monday to do something. I haven't said what that thing is, but Getsuyobi made ni. So it's like yeah, I have until that time. So perhaps, yeah, just until you arrive at the castle. What kind of is donna? What kind of deai? What kind of encounters? Ga omae wo matte oru ka? What kind of encounters are waiting, like, for you? This is like the object marker, isn't it? You don't say like waiting for in Japanese. You just put the verb and then mark the object with wo here, and that tells you, you know, what's being waited for. Omae wo matte oru ka? And then this is like a question. So what kind of things are waiting for you is exciting, basically. Tanoshimi means like to look forward to, or is fun, or is exciting, or whatever. So yeah, and then we end with ja again, like he likes to do because he's an old owl. I'm questioning my own understanding of this now. Tadoritsuku made ni. Is it the encounters? What kind of encounters are we going to have on the way to the castle? Or is it what kind of encounters are we going to have when we get to the castle? I'm not actually too sure there, but... yeah, anyway, he's saying it's exciting. Mo ichido hanashi wo kiku kai? You're saying like one time more one time. My words or my story or, you know, my speech or what I've just said. Kiku kai, like will you listen? And then kai again, being a question. And we're going to say, hell no. Oh, atama no ii ko da. Sore de wa ki o tsukete na. So this is a noise again. Oh, atama is your head. Yeah, well, not your head. It's head. Atama is head. Atama ga ii basically means your head is good or that you're intelligent. Is what it means. And like ga and no here, you could probably have either. But I suppose that because it modifies a noun at the end, probably no is better. So you're a child. You're a smart child, basically. Atama no ii ko. Ko is just child, isn't it? Atama no ii ko da. Sore de wa, with that, with all that said, with that being decided and everything, ki o tsukete na. Like, just take care, basically, isn't it? Ki o tsukete. Ki o tsukete na. This na at the end is a bit like ne. And then ha ha. Just a noise owls seem to like making. Alright. I'd better leave that there then. Because, well, yeah, it's been a long video, long enough as it is. So, yeah. Just kill this guy. That's that. Thanks for watching. Hope it was worthwhile. And I'll see you next time.